Hi there, I'm Mark Sebastian, founder of OptionPit.com, and this is the AM Volatility Report. Reminder, this should not be considered investment advice. Options have risk. Consult your financial professional. Good to see everybody. Good morning. Overall markets, kind of where we started yesterday, except that we're actually seeing some follow-through on that. It's been 20 some odd minutes. Market's still up. You got the S&P up 0.25%. The Russell, which was kind of the laggard yesterday, is the leader today, along and followed closely by the NASDAQ. So you've got kind of back to normal today. Maybe a little bit end of month rotation we saw at the end yesterday. There's also we saw a little bit of a vol rally because of our friend Mr. Comey. He is going to testify. However, it's already been leaked what he's going to say. So I'm not so certain that there's anything that'll be fascinating that comes of what he has to say, but that could be interesting. He's speaking next week. That could cause a blip in volatility, especially if he says something of interest. Whether he will or not is another story, but if he does, that could absolutely tip things one way or the other. In terms of stocks we're watching, there are several of the same we were starting with yesterday, so I want to start with financials. Goldman seems to finally found some footing. What an ugly chart. Lesson learned. The amount of money they're going to make on this Venezuelan deal is, cost them way more than that in market cap yesterday, the last couple of days. They just got pounded. Found their way to the 200-day moving average and has since halted. So we could see a little bit of a pause. You can see realized vol way above implied right now. There's real movement in this name, and the implied vol is not caught up to it yet. So either vol is going to come back, and by that I mean movement is going to come in, or implied volatility has to go a lot higher. So this is one to watch. It truly is. Put spreads maybe make some sense, some bear spreads, but I'm not quite ready to throw in the towel on selling vol. This thing maybe needs a little of space and time, so we're going to spend a little time with that. Now, where I do feel stronger in terms of the vol is XLF. They have been rallying the implied volatility in XLF for some time, and it hasn't really gone anywhere. A couple weeks back, we looked at a little iron condor, and that would have worked great. With where the vol is, kind of bid. Yes, it's a $23 stock. I wish it was a $230 ETF. But IV is high enough that I might be interested in doing something with this. We're going to be potentially looking at maybe a condor or something. We're going to play with it. There's going to be something there. We're also watching the major indexes, SPX, RUT, and NASDAQ that we talked about. Yesterday we did play around with a what amounted to an NDX bull play in the triple Q. And that play has worked all right so far today. Between yesterday and today, we were legging into it relatively inexpensively. We're watching EWU, and I am continuing to be shocked that we're not seeing more pushback on parliamentary elections in Britain. I think that volatility should and will go up next week, especially if polls keep moving the way they're moving. Change in central power could mean something for Ms. May, and it could be a real problem. We looked at long puts, and we also looked at long straddles. So far, those are not performing great, but they're not that terrible. There's a lot of different ways to play it, but I think that there's certainly some pieces to watch here. Right. Some very interesting pieces to watch. Then gold. every time someone says, "Oh, Bitcoin must be for real," if Bitcoin was for real, gold would be moving. It's not. It's getting near highs. I think gold might be a cyclical fade, like a trade fade, not a permanent fade. There's also going to have to be something with bonds. They can't possibly stay. Long-term treasuries are just insane with how big they are. The yield's going to have to come off. Those are kind of the five thematic things we're going to be watching. Still paying attention to Amazon as well, as it kind of tries to get over 1,000, has not been able to do so. But so the main things I'm going to be watching, kind of maybe some bull play in one of the ETFs. Britain, Goldman Sachs, XLF, some of the FANG names, and of course, I'm always watching VIX. We currently do have a trade on in EVXY that is really starting to perform, and we may have something to do there today as well. All right, folks, if you have questions, you can email me marketoptionpit.com, or you can call me 888-TRADE-01. Have a great morning.